Building your fence library in ArcSight, there are two primary approaches that you can take, and we'll talk about both of them in this video. The first is what we'll call full setup, meaning that you will build full assemblies in ArcSight for all of the items that you sell. These assemblies, or bundles as we call them in our system, will include as their components all needed parts and materials, things like pickets, rails, nails, concrete bags, etc., so that you can easily generate takeoffs and accurately calculate pricing. The second option is what we sometimes call linear foot pricing. What this means is that rather than building out full assemblies with all of their component parts, some customers will choose to build a more simplified product library consisting of the items that you sell and their pricing, but not including the more granular parts and materials that go into them. Linear foot pricing is a simpler approach and thus can be faster to set up, but keep in mind that if you forego the full setup, you'll also lose the benefits of the automatic material calculation. However, if you just need to be able to generate a quote and material calculations and pricing are less of a priority, the linear foot pricing can make sense as the way to set up. And we'll go through a couple of examples of what each of those approaches looks like so you can visualize that a little more clearly. You'll notice that I'm here on the canvas in the ArcSight app, and I'm going to start by drawing with one of our fully set up fence bundles that I have here in my example library. I'm going to go to my 6-foot wood bundles here, and I'm just going to grab one of these fence bundles that I have here in my library. I'll draw a few lines here to represent my fence. And then I'm going to go to the top and hit estimate just so that we can enter here into our takeoff and estimate flow and see the detail that's captured, right? You'll notice that here on our summary, we have a list just based on those very quick lines that we sketched. We have a breakdown of all of the materials that we'll need and their pricing, right? You'll notice that we have a breakdown of our boards, hardware, including nails, rails, and posts. And then for each line item, we have not only quantity, but also dollar amount, right? And so this is really the benefit of that kind of full setup method where we can capture this information and then have it flow into whatever output documents we need, whether that's a customer-facing proposal, internal crew sheet, etc. Now, I'll show you another example of what it would look like with linear foot. I'm actually going to tap out and then go into a new drawing here just so that we can kind of start fresh. You'll see that up at the top of our products, I've got a couple of linear foot examples. Just for the sake of example here, I'm going to grab this 4-foot black vinyl that I've set up as a product in the, kind of linear foot setup method. So it'll be similar in that I'll grab the product, draw my line or series of lines. But you'll notice it looks a little different. When I go into my estimate, I still have my summary, right? But this time I don't have all of those parts and materials captured. I have my vinyl fence product that I've set up. I have my linear footage, and then I have my dollar amount of, how much I'm charging. But it's stripped of some of that additional detail that we saw with the full setup method. Now, ultimately, the choice is yours on what makes the most sense. Once you have settled on the desired approach, you can then begin building your library, and we'll get more into those details next, depending on which path you take.